Greetings, Tanya at I Love Iodine. Today's video is going to go through some of the highlights of my website, which can be found at www.iloveiodine.com. A few things before we get started. My channel was recently demonetized by YouTube. Hopefully it'll be monetized again in the future, but at this present moment, that is not the case, and it may take a while for that to change. I don't know really the true specifics as to why that occurred, but that is a story for another day. That being said, I'm going to continue putting up videos. I also am going to have another channel on soap making called Duck Duck Soap. So if you're interested in that, I will be putting more details out shortly. Also, I do make soap. I will be selling that on this website to help support my work, especially since I've been demonetized. And also just to support the cost of running the website and things of the like. If you're interested in things like wild edibles, wild medicinal plants, I will also have more information out on that. Keeping in mind that a lot of the plants that we can get in our local area are naturally anti-parasitic, naturally antifungal, and or antibacterial. Not all of them. There are some clear poisonous ones out there. You definitely need to learn, but we can work more on doing that in the future as well. We'll see that there's some of that information on this website. I also do have a wild edible ebook that is available for purchase. That does go over 24 plants that are in the eastern United States. Most of them are also found throughout the United States as well. If you're interested in doing that, that does help support the channel and my work, and you can get that. That's available right at this as we speak. And I think it's only $2.50. It's typically $5, half off. If you're having financial problems and you can't afford the $2.50, please just email me and we can make it work out for you, okay? So that being said, let's go through some of the main tabs that are on this page. I manage it myself. If you do find a typo, please let me know. I'm only one person and can only handle so much as far as reading the same words over and over again before it just starts all running together. We'll go over the homepage in a little bit, but like I said, I'm just going to go over the top tabs. So on the homepage, you'll see the subpage. We have a blog index, which is actually links all of my blogs, or at least most of them. Maybe a few need to still be added, but many of them. It'll keep you busy for quite a while reading all that. And also it will link to the YouTube channel, or you can go directly there as well. If you go to the About page, it's going to give information about why I learned about parasites. It's also, you can go to the subpage of my educational background and some of the coursework that I've taken, and also why I love iodine, why I chose that name. If you go to the Photos tab, this is more like a mix of, these have some things on anti-parasitic foods, wild plants, going into especially Maryland wildflowers. I currently live in the Maryland, the state of Maryland. I'm originally from a different state, but I do call Maryland my home. And we have some mushroom and other fungi, and then some trees. There'll be more added on that in the future. And also I have a travel photo page, just some highlights of some of the photos of some of the places that I've gone. We have California, Colorado, Israel, New Orleans, Louisiana, aka NOLA, Bermuda, Las Vegas, Nevada, and then recently in 2021 I went to Asheville and Southwest Florida. So I like to get out there and de-stress by taking pictures of especially plants and animals and just nature and the scenery. So if you're interested, check that out. If you go to the Healthy Living tab, it's where a lot of the blogs can be found. So it's on herbal remedies. You can find some recipes on making elderberry syrup, calendula oil. That should probably be stated there, but it's not. Detoxification, some blogs on immune system support, information on parasites, talking about the foods, the herbs, defining parasites, talking about some of the damage that parasites do, risk factors. It discusses the protocol that I used whenever I was dealing with my parasitic infection as well. It talks about colon support, and it talks about the gluten and tapeworm connection. And also, if you go down here, you'll see the recipes and meal ideas. That's going to be related to parasites. There's actually a separate tab for recipes that are not related to parasites. I do have some blogs on stress reduction, on healthy eating, my favorite healthy foods, which may be some of yours as well, and it might not be. We are all different. We all have different preferences. We have different information on nutrients. I have some information on thyroid. I was diagnosed with subclinical hypothyroidism, and I had an iodine deficiency. I have a weak thyroid anyway, so I stay away from anything that disrupts my thyroid, including like brominated breads, which we can talk about more. I think it's important. I don't think it's really covered very much about the effects of bromine and chlorine and fluoride and things like that on the thyroid, because they are in the same chemical class as iodine. So they're very similar, and sometimes the body will not be able to recognize them as not being iodine, and it can cause a lot of disruption in the thyroid gland. I have recipes on homemade products down here, and then here talks a little bit about the GMOs and the Dirty Dozen, and then some recipes like on nut milks and my baking recipes. So if you're, looking at those type of things on how to make some good cookies, you can go there, and some brownies, and also some cooking and baking substitutions. If you don't eat eggs, I do have a whole list of things that you can use for egg substitutions in your recipes as well. And next we'll talk about the favorites. I have some favorite pictures of Expo East, which is a natural and organic expo that hasn't occurred for a while due to COVID. Hopefully it'll be back in the fall in Philadelphia. If so, you will definitely find me there. I talk about where I buy my supplies, the things that I like, some herbs and supplements, some food products, and I talk about Pure Life products and other favorites of mine. I have a tab on events, so if you want to come out where I'm talking, giving a presentation, or maybe teaching a class, you can keep an eye out on that. Also, I'll be putting that out in the newsletter, and also some of the class descriptions. And we're going to go through these a little bit in detail in a minute. The contact page, self-explanatory support. If you want to, it gives the link for Amazon and other things as far as PayPal as well. And you can go here for the ebook. I have a wild berry ebook coming out. Not yet, but hopefully soon. And a shopping cart, which we have nothing in it. Anyway, so I'm going to take you to the events page first. So these are some of the things that's going on. I'm teaching a class coming up next month on wild edible plants. In the past, I've given talks on parasites, medicinal herbs, soap making, and things like that. So if you're interested in coming out to those or hosting an event, please contact me. I really love to get out there and share this information. The contact page is pretty self-explanatory. You can contact me directly. It'll email me. And so let us go to the blog index. I think this is an easy place to start. At the top of the blog index, you'll see that there's a search bar. Put a term in here, and you are going to be taken somewhere where it has a whole list of anything that had that word that you put in there found in it. So if you're looking about something on tapeworms and you don't want to go through my whole website, please just use this search bar. I had to upgrade my website to be able to put this in, and it is very, 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 very useful. And so anyway, this does go down through, and if you click on one of these, and it's going to take you directly to there. So say we wanted to learn more about stress reduction tips, click this. It will direct right to it, and you can read about some different ways that you can reduce stress. And keep in mind that there are many pages that are in this website that are hidden. You have to go to a page to find it. And that is not because I'm trying to make things cryptic. It's just they're more related to the content. And that's especially true with the pictures as well. And so if you wanted to learn about breaking the cycle of stress, this is also here. This is a little chart that I put together on how these factors are related to each other. So you kind of need to break the cycle because all of it is contributing. And I'm going to do a video on that because I think, we sometimes forget how poor sleep, just the next day, if we're tired, our body's craving anything to just keep us awake, we're going to rely heavily on sugar. We rely heavily on sugar. Bad pathogens are going to be extremely happy. That's actually not going to give us proper nutrition. And things are just going to continue kind of just, in this circular, interrelated manner, and actually just not leading to a very healthy life. Okay, so going back to this thing, the blog index here, and you'll just see the recipes blog. So if you're interested in some of the recipes that I have kind of tweaked and made my own, some of the ingredients that I like to use are over here. If you do click on any of these links, I do get a small commission, but the rates are the same whether you go through my website or if you go directly to Amazon. Again, all support is greatly appreciated. Anyway, these are some of my favorite products and also some recipes that you can go to here. This is my brownie recipe. I find it to be quite delicious and very easy to make. And of course, if you're a vegan and you want to learn more about egg substitutions, you can go here. I am not a vegan, but I think making sure you get your eggs from a quality source is very, very important. But if you are allergic to eggs or you choose not to eat them, this does give a lot of different ways that you can replace eggs in your baking. Of course, some of these are more appropriate for certain dishes and not others, depending on whether you're going with a sweet dish or a savory dish. Anyway, and then of course we have the parasites blog index. So we're going to talk about, what I ate and drank, how I dealt with it, defining parasites, common symptoms, die-off symptoms that might be experienced by some, and, how people acquire intestinal parasites, talking about pets and parasites, and, minimizing risk of acquiring a parasite. And also there's a really important one, I think, coming up here. You might want to check out the one on mosquitoes and ticks. I'm going to do a video on this, so we won't talk more about that. But very important. Ticks are really bad, and I expect them to probably be just as bad this year as any other year. You can talk about them here if you're interested in what I did for my anti-parasitic protocol. This is what I did. And you can go through this, and there is a slew of information. Colon support and gluten and tapeworm infections, how they're related, and things like that. Some also, my anti-parasitic smoothie is on here, and more blogs will be released. I should change that to 2021. And sorry, I am delayed. That is definitely my fault, and I will gotta remedy that situation going forward. So if we go over here, we have the blog index as well that you can go directly to if you went to the healthy living tab, and you're going to have the same thing as well, or hopefully the same. I mean, I need to update it and verify that. But anyway, the other, I think, important tab, if you're interested in how I became interested in parasites, you can go here and read about my story as well. We're not going to do that right now. And also, if you want to know about my educational background, where I went to school, you can read all about it here. And if you want to know why I love iodine, you can read that here as well. And let's see. I think an interesting page, at least my personal favorite, is my pictures. I really do enjoy taking pictures and going out and, basically, it's a really good way for me to reduce stress. So these are pictures from, throughout the years from various locations. If you're interested in using any of my pictures, please just let me know. They are copyrighted. But I'm more than happy to share them for educational uses or for personal use, as long as you ask in advance, which would be great. Travel. These are just some of the places that I've traveled. The last place that I was Southwest Florida. This is recently. So these are some of the pictures that I took. In this trip, I was very focusing on alligators and taking pictures of various birds. They're absolutely fascinating. Nature amazes me. So these were just taken a few weeks ago. It was very lovely being down in Florida, getting a little bit of sun. Sun is very necessary for us getting enough vitamin D. Remember, vitamin D is not just a quote-unquote vitamin. It's actually a hormone, And you need it for not just your bone health, but for, dealing with hormones, production, also immune system. There is a huge talk out there that people have been stating that many of the people that have gotten sick recently actually were quite deficient in vitamin D, and that there might be a causal relationship, but they're definitely observing a correlational relationship at this point. And anyway, so something to keep in mind. There's also good supplements out there, even for vegans as well, if you are not in a climate where you get regular sun, which is basically a lot of the United States. Okay, so these are just some more of the things. So if we look at some more pictures, if you're interested, you can learn more about the Maryland flowers, and, just simple, anti-parasitic foods and things of the like. So I definitely think that you can navigate it from here. And I do really appreciate your time and taking a look at this video, where you can go to this website and get a lot of information for free. I don't have ads on this at this time. I don't necessarily think I'm going to. We'll see. I personally don't like pop-ups and all kinds of crazy ads slowing down when I'm just trying to actually go get real information. And, I don't have to scroll. And again, I do not sell any of your information. So if you sign up for the newsletter, I do not sell that to anybody. I keep everything very private and very secure. So keep those things in mind. And if you're interested in this is my ebook on wild edible plants that I worked on actually after I started getting better from being sick. This book was just, it really means a lot. Anyway, I'm sorry. As many of you know, that was in 2015. I was really, really sick. So realizing that I made it through that and was able to do this is amazing to me, considering where I was and where the doctors had projected I was going to be, which was not here anymore.